In my lifetime, I've dreamed of owning a film camera, whether it be Super 35 or 16mm or Super 16. I've just dreamed of shooting film on a proper film camera. Now it is an expensive dream and it doesn't always come easy. So what I've planned to do is replicate a Digital Bolex D16 camera. That's exactly what I've done. Right here I have the Canon EOS M with Magic Lantern RAW. And as you can see, it sort of resembles the Digital Bolex D16 camera. Now, not to be confused, this is not a film camera, this is a digital camera that shoots 12-bit DNG RAW. And I've tried to replicate that with this setup that I have now. With Magic Lantern RAW, you can shoot 10, 12, and 14-bit uncompressed RAW or even lossless. And I have to say that the footage coming out of it looks really amazing, and I'll give you some samples later on in this video. Now the Canon EOS M is not an expensive camera at all. It costs around 200 to 250 bucks. And so it's very cheap. You can hook it up with a range of different lenses, Super 35, 16mm. And with this software, it opens up an array of different options of shooting modes such as 2.5K RAW, 2.8K. So a lot of different modes that crop into the sensor, which allow you to shoot with these old vintage glass that will generally vignette on APS-C size sensors or even full frames. So in order to build this Digital Bolex D16 type rig, what you need is a handle. Now this is one that you don't find very often on YouTube or Amazon. It's called Stitz, and you can see it's probably made in the 50s or 60s. It's made for film cameras with the triggers to pull the shutter. Now the best way to find these old vintage pistol grips is to go onto eBay, search pistol grip, and then select the vintage tag, and that will take you straight to old style pistol grips. Now if you can't find it, there's always those modern ones that you can get. Just make sure that it doesn't block the battery door of your camera. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to pull the SD card out or the battery, depending on where it's located. This is a Movo branded viewfinder and it works really fantastic. I mean, when you're in bright situations, you can definitely see your shots nice and clearly. It helps you with framing and composure. And I just really love using this out in the field. So I highly recommend this if you haven't got one already. And the last thing you need are some 16mm or Super 16mm lenses. What you would need is a C-mount to whatever camera you're using. So I've got the EOS M, C-mount to EOS M adapter, and they all fit perfectly. Just screw it in place, and there you go, that's what it looks like, and you're ready to go out and shoot in the field. And honestly, this is a really cool setup. It just looks very vintage and old school, and you're probably gonna get a lot of people looking at you out in the field. Just go ahead and have some fun, that's what it's all about. Now the Digital Bolex has a Super 16 sensor, and the Super 16mm format has a 1.66:1 aspect ratio, so you do get bars on the side. If you want to know all the crop factors that the EOS M can shoot with Magic Lantern RAW, here they are. So if you want to pause here and just look at the crop factors, you can. Otherwise, I'm just going to move right on ahead. Now when I'm shooting out in the field, I like to have a carry bag like this, and I can pretty much fit all my lenses into this bag. I have all my C-mount lenses in there. I can pick and choose which one I want, take them out, and I have no worries about breaking these lenses because they are built like tanks. Now there are a range of different C-mount lenses that you can grab off eBay, and all these different lenses have different characteristics, different color rendition, bokeh, and sometimes it can be a gamble, so you don't know if it's going to be sharp or a soft lens. So the best thing to do is do a YouTube search and see what works for you. For my recommendation, I can highly recommend Apollo television lenses. These have all worked really well. And this Apollo television lens 50mm t1.9 shoots amazing portraiture. I mean, it's a 50mm lens, so it's about a telephoto, and you get beautiful background separation. These are a few shots that I took on the Canon EOS M, and you can see for a C-mount lens from the 50s and 60s, it still holds up really well, has beautiful colors, and it can just take really nice portraits with the right picture profile. You can also find some really unique lenses. I've got a Taylor Hobson Cooke lens, and this is a 1-inch f3.5 lens. Now this is a fixed focus lens, so it only focuses to infinity. There's no focus ring or focus mechanism, so it's just fixed to infinity, but it's a very unique lens with beautiful colors. And like I said, these are just so much fun to play with out in the field. Now if you want some of the best C-mount lenses in the game, then I'm going to recommend Kern Paillard. This is a 25mm f1.8 Yavar lens. I mean, even if you pay a high price for these lenses, I do still think that they're worth it. And they'll give you a whole list of Kern Paillard lenses for both the D mount and the C mount. Alright, so now it's time to look at the video quality of this setup. Now one thing to mention is that back in the days, these were shown on black and white TVs, so I guess color wasn't really popularized back then, and it started to develop as the years went by. Now the first lens that I took out and just tested was the Kern Paillard 25mm f1.8, and I'll show you some color samples and then I'll turn it to black and white. So these lenses are great for experimenting and getting a desired Super 16mm format type of look. Now I also tested some other lenses like the Apollo television lens, as well as this Cook lens right here. I mostly shot in the 5K FRTP mode and the 2.5K 16:9 RAW mode. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's the setup of the Canon EOS M and the Digital Bolex D16 copy type rig. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.